Everyone in Alabama will be required to wear a face mask. That's because Governor Ivey today created a mandate that will go into effect tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the evening. Our Kelly Kennedy has more on the ordinance.
With the state's record-breaking case numbers, Governor Ivey says they have no other choice than to mandate masks.
The numbers and the data over the past few weeks are definitely trending in the wrong direction.
Governor Ivey also stressing the importance of not shutting back down.
And moreover, to keep our businesses open and keep our economy on a pathway toward recovery, it's vitally important for our people to continue to earn a paycheck. You cannot work if you are not healthy. So that is why I'm trusting the people of Alabama to do the right thing and wear a mask.
There are some exceptions. Children 6 years old or younger and people with medical conditions do not have to wear a mask. Eating and drinking, exercise, and certain medical procedures are also exceptions. People who violate the order could face a fine up to $500 or even jail time. However, they are not asking law enforcement to seek out people not wearing a mask.
The goal is to demonstrate the importance, the urgency.
Hospitals are feeling the impact of the rising numbers. There are 30 hospitals in the state with limited or no ICU capacity.
1,477 inpatients were reported as of this morning, plus another 541 persons under investigation. So more than 2,000 people across the state are confirmed or suspected of this infection who are occupying hospital beds.
The mask order is set to expire July 31st at 5 p.m. While it's in effect, the state order will replace any other city or county mask ordinance. Putting the Valley first, Kelly Kennedy, WZDX News.